Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So this video is going to be my indie makeup releases, just talking about the new indie makeup that has been sneak peeked or launched in the last week and my personal thoughts on them, whether I am considering to purchase them or not purchase them, and then I will throw in a few mainstream releases at the end. For this video, I did not purchase anything. I feel like I should just throw that all out together. I have not bought any makeup in a hot minute, so everything is kind of just like whether I like it or not necessarily whether I'm going to purchase it at this time, because I've just been not buying makeup and it feels really good. I figured I would mention really quickly, just in case you guys are curious, for my makeup today on my eyes, I have the Lime Crime Venus 3 palette. I do this look literally every single time I use this. I'm not a person who has a go-to look, but I love this purple mauvey look so much using this palette. I feel like it's just a go-to easy look, so that's what I use. I don't have a tutorial or anything like that. Just figured I would mention it since I always get questions on what's on my face. And then I'm also wearing the M Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Comfy, and my highlighter is Makeup Geek Glitz. So this series is inspired by Angelica Nyquist and Samantha March. I will have their channels linked down below, as well as the community Will I Buy It playlist in case you want to watch more videos like this. And I also have all the Instagram accounts that I use in the description box as well, so you can definitely check them out and learn more than what I'm saying, although I try to give, you know, the core details. So let's just go ahead and jump on into the makeup. Okay, so starting off, this is not a like super new release, but I've been meaning to talk about it for like an entire month and I forget every single week. So we'll throw it in here either way because I feel like I haven't heard anyone talk about this. So this is a new palette from Time Los Angeles and it's called the Pink Infatuation. And it is a pretty much a monochromatic pink palette. And I like this. I think it's really beautiful. It definitely caught my eye. I feel like since this has been released, there's definitely been a few more pink palettes. I know Kylie came out with one. I swear I saw a different pink palette recently, but I can't even remember what it was. So I think that this looks really stunning, and I like the different tones. It definitely seems right up my alley. But I did not even consider purchasing it because Time Los Angeles does sell mink lashes. I actually was on their website to buy, they do a lot of apparel and like makeup related shirts, some really cute things, but they sell mink lashes, so I didn't buy anything. But anyways, I think that this palette is really beautiful. I think that the campaign picture is very stunning. I love the pink monochromatic look, so definitely was intrigued by this and the brand in general, but not something I see myself buying. So next is a little sneak peek. I feel like I have a lot of single shadows to mention this week, but this is from Give Me Glow Cosmetics, and this is going to be a part of their Juicy Olive palette, which should be releasing, was it, I think they might have said the end of February, or either maybe the end of February, or they changed it to spring. I will double check and I will leave that in the description box, but I'm very interested and intrigued by this palette from Give Me Glow, hoping for a really nice green color scheme, and this first color that they sneak peeked has not disappointed. Although, if I'm being honest with myself, I feel like I definitely do have this shade a few times over. So it's like that balance of like really wanting to try a brand and not wanting to buy things that I already have. So it'll definitely depend on what the rest of the palette is, but I like the first shade. I was just thinking, because I was looking at my nails and I feel like I can just go ahead and throw this in here. Even though it's not a new release, it is indie brand news. Unfortunately, Kale Polish is closing. I'm wearing Kale Polish Leo right now, which is such a beautiful color. Like, even my dad complimented my nails, which is so weird. He never does that, but it's just such a pretty copper glitter shade. But anyways, they're closing. No real reasons at this point because they can't discuss it due to legal reasons, but I am very sad about it because I'm not a nail polish girl at all, and I've always just been like, nah, whatever. And then I tried Kale Polish and I got addicted, and now I have like 40 shades. So I am good for a really long time, and it's just crazy because like my mom fell in love with the polish formula. She's always stealing them from me. My little sister loves it. Like, she doesn't want to use the cheap stuff. She's like, I want to use yours because it's good. So definitely a bummer. Alright, next is some new sneak peeks from Sparrow Cosmetics. So they are coming out with lipsticks very soon. They are showing 3 different nude shades, which look nice. They're releasing on the 14th, and I like the packaging. I'm curious about the formula, if it's going to be matte or satin, or, you know, they haven't really gone into detail on everything yet, but I am curious about that. I have only tried their highlighters and I think 1 or 2 eyeshadows, and then they have a little thing that says Spring 2019, and you can see some pans. That could be face powders, bronzers, highlighters, blushes, eyeshadows, not really sure, but I'm curious. And then last but not least, they said spring/summer release to be decided, and it looks like some type of glitter liner perhaps. So definitely curious to see everything that is going to be coming up for Sparrow. Next, we have some really cool multi-chrome shadows to talk about from Kristen Leigh Cosmetics. So this first one is called Suspicion, and this is beautiful. It looks like it goes from like a green to like a pink to a purple. Like the shift on this is just crazy. And Kristen Leigh does some really, really beautiful colors. And I'm so curious about them, and she does offer them in pressed form, which makes me like excited. But also I have a lot of duochrome, multi-chrome pigments now. I wouldn't say a lot, maybe like 6, but I don't reach for them that often. Actually, I probably have a lot more. I got some in PR, so I didn't even think about those. I haven't even cracked open into them yet, but I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it, but I was definitely a little bit tempted by this one. And then she released this next one, which is called Premonition. My heart, oh my gosh, it's just like the most beautiful blue, teal, green mix. It is so stunning. It just looks so foiled, and the shade is beautiful. Really beautiful. Definitely something that I had to like, you don't need it, you don't need it, talk myself out of a little bit, but definitely a stunning shade. I believe that both of those multi-chromes are sold out at this point. They normally are very, very limited. Sometimes they come back, but it's definitely one of those things where when they like restock, you want to grab it really fast if it is something you're interested in. So I will leave the Etsy shop down below, but I don't think you can purchase it anymore. Alright, next is the new Sweet Treats palette from Doll Beauty, which is launching on 2/11, and I think this is pretty cute. It kind of reminds you of like opening a box of chocolates. So as far as the colors go in the palette, I mean, obviously I'm kind of drawn to it because there's like pinks and oranges and yellow, and there's like a little bit of neutral. So I like the color scheme, but it's not something I need. It's not something I need. I definitely have these colors already, but I would say what kind of, you know, made me give it a little bit of a second look is it kind of reminded me of like the P. Louise palettes, both of them kind of combined into one, and how the P. Louise, like the new palette, is completely matte. And when they talked about it, it was because like they want to make matte shades and they don't want to make shimmers because they feel like pigments can do so much more than shimmers ever could, was kind of like the whole idea behind it, that they don't really use shimmer shadows in palettes very often. I mean, I don't have time for a pigment every day, so that's not really my outlook on palettes. But I was curious about this because it looks like every single shade is a matte, except, okay, maybe there's one shimmery light pink, which would be like a good highlighting shade. Everything else looks matte, so I think like having the pigments inside of the palette is interesting, and it would also like, I don't know, it kind of seems convenient because a lot of times like when people do like the sets and it's like these random like big like a lipstick or whatever, and it's like just this huge thing taking up space, it doesn't quite make sense unless you like to keep your stuff all like exactly in that spot. But I feel like to have the pigments in the palette, and if the pigments, I don't even know what color the pigments are, I don't know, but I feel like having the pigments in the palette just makes sense. You would remember to use them more because they are part of the palette. So I kind of like that, actually. I think that's really cool, and I would like to see that more. Blush Tribe has revealed their new, I think this is called the Neon Dreams palette, and I definitely like that it has a matte black packaging, just because from someone who likes to take pictures of their makeup standpoint, the last 2 palettes that they did have like a really reflective background, and it's the struggle to take a good picture that shows what the colors are. So I like that this has the nice matte black. I feel like it helps the colors stand out really well, and it is 9 neon shades. Definitely intrigued on how these perform. I feel like neons can be very hit and miss. But I do like the overall look of the palette. Like there's a neon green, a bright orangey yellow, the blue, the purple, you know, basically the rainbow in the palette, although there is a few different pink shades. I will say that it looks like all the shades, well, pretty much all the shades that were in the little Just Blend It quad from Blush Tribe, that was like super limited edition. It kind of looks like you could get all of those in here. So if you missed that, that would be nice. Let me pull it out in case you've never seen it. Actually, let me take a moment and remember where I put it. So here's what it looks like, just a cute little quad. And then there's the 4 shades you can see. So I feel like you could probably get pretty much the exact same look out of the new Neon Dreams palette. I wish that Blush Tribe would do more quads because I feel like this was like $11, which is like a really good price for like just something small. And it's like very curated, and I don't know, I just really like the idea of more quads. So at this time, the Blush Tribe Neon Dreams palette does not have a launch date, but I will keep you guys updated. So moving on to a new palette, which is from Femierre. It is the Spring Forward palette, launching to 11, and it'll retail for $22, which I think is a pretty good price for the amount of shades that you're getting. So obviously I will throw it on the screen. I feel like this is kind of crazy because, like, well, I posted this on Indie Makeup Spotlight, which if you don't know already, shameless self-plug, it's my Instagram account that is all indie makeup news. And I think it's always cool when I find something that I feel that I haven't seen a single person talk about, and then like it just goes crazy. Like this post did so well, and like they seemed really excited. They were like, thank you to everyone for the feedback on our new palette. They seem to be a smaller brand and everything, so it makes me feel powerful. No, really, it's cool. So I loved seeing everyone's comments and everyone being so excited about this palette because it is a very dreamy pastel palette. I really love all the tones in here. There are 2 pressed glitters, which is a little bit like, I don't really want pressed glitters, but everything else looks really nice, like all the pastel periwinkles and blues and yellows and greens and pinks, and I just think that this looks very beautiful. It is an extremely long palette. It's kind of interestingly long. Like I imagine it's probably going to be like this long or something. I don't know how big the pan size is. So that's something to keep in mind. But there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 16 shades. So I feel like that's not too bad. And I think it looks really nice. I think it's interesting. I think it's beautiful. I like the different color tones. I'd say the only cons, like I said, the pressed glitter. I also feel like I wish that there was not a super bright red shade here. I feel like it doesn't quite go as much. I wish that there was something a little bit more on the neutral side, maybe like muted, but still having depth, like maybe some type of like muted plum or something that I feel like would play well with the other colors to give the palette a little bit more versatility. But overall, I am intrigued. Alright, so next, a sneak peek that I am very excited about. Devinah Cosmetics is going to be dropping some new green eyeshadows. So far they have revealed 4 different singles which are going to be coming out in March, and they look beautiful. The different green tones, there's like a teal, there's like a really light like sea foamy green. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Like if they're coming out with a green collection, like that just speaks to me so much. And I'm excited about it, especially because I love their formula. I feel like their formula is amazing. So I feel like I've seen a lot of things recently come out where it's like I realize I don't love the formula, even if I love the color scheme. So it doesn't matter. I'm not going to like, just because I like the colors doesn't mean I can make the formula work in my head, is kind of what I mean. Like I really liked the way the Ace Beauty Flare palette looked, but it's just not my favorite formula, so I decided to skip. So given that this is my favorite color, one of my favorite formulas, it's a really great indie brand with really great customer service, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. So very excited about that, and that is definitely something that is on my wish list, my potential will I buy it list. Definitely probably gonna get those. Alright, so next is a little sneak peek of a new eyeshadow palette. Oh my gosh, there's so many eyeshadow palettes. So this is from Rani Cosmetics, and they are going to be coming out with their first eyeshadow palette. Previously, they have done a few different lip products, I believe. So this is the Shattered Gems eyeshadow palette, and first off, the packaging looks super beautiful. Love the packaging. I also love that they said the story for this palette was, like the owner, I believe she's a YouTuber. I can't remember what her username is, but I can like see her face in my head. So if I can remember, I'll make sure to leave it down below. But she said that the idea for the palette and the color scheme came to her in a dream, and I kind of love that. Like, yes, like dreams can be so weird and like inspirational. So this first little 4 set that they showed is really beautiful. There's like a light, you know, your typical like kind of soft brown transition shade, but the lightest color looks like an iridescent purple. There's like a pinky gold mix, there's a deep purple, and then the second set of 4, let me pull it up real quick so I can make sure I know exactly the colors I'm talking about. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Okay. So the next set of 4 is like blue cool tone shades. There's like a really light cool tone gray, a really bright blue, a kind of blue gray shade, and then like a deeper gray. So I think that this looks nice so far. There are going to be 4 more shades. If it's revealed by the time of editing, I don't think it will. I will throw it on screen so you guys can see the full thing. But so far, I am kind of intrigued. I like there's like the little purple section, the blue section. I'm curious to see what's next. So intrigued by that. Next is a new release from Girl Boss Cosmetics, and it's launching 210. This is the Queen palette. They are also, I think they're having a full Queen collection. They also have liquid eyeshadows coming out as well. So speaking on the palette, I think that the packaging looks really nice. Like just looking at this picture, I feel like it looks very high quality. I think it looks very sleek, and the color scheme reminds me of the Anastasia Modern Renaissance. That's definitely what I see. I mean, there is kind of like a few more pink tones here. I think the pinks look a little bit brighter. There's more shimmer options here. So not something I need. Not something I need at all, but it is an option now. All right, let me see if I have, oh yes, this indie release that I really want to talk about. I don't know how this like escaped my eyes, because normally I'm pretty good about catching all the different releases, but for some reason I have not seen Donna X Cosmetics like on my Instagram feed at all, and at first I wasn't like looking for them, so this release passed me by, but now that I've seen it, I'm like regretting that I've seen it because it's so beautiful. So this is the new Sugar Shifter Multichrome collection, and it is all light shades with different duochromes like pinks and purples and blues and greens and golds and the shifts, and they're all light shades, and this just looks like the fantasy of my inner corner eyeshadows. Like I think all of these would be so beautiful on the inner corner. This is definitely the release that like tempted me the most as an eyeshadow collection. I just feel like it's something I would use a lot, although I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it right now. I did creep on the website just a little bit, and a lot of shades are sold out. And there is no bundle option, because if there was a bundle and you saved like a little bit of money, because I genuinely am interested in every single shade. I think this is so stunning. So those are staying in the back of my mind for sure, but I'm definitely looking out to see if anyone does reviews and everything. I did watch the video of the beauty news swatching them and all, and they looked stunning. So alright, so I think that is everything for indie brands. I just have a handful of mainstream releases to talk about. First off, Tatcha came out with a new dewy skin cream, and I'm not normally a person who gets excited about skincare, but I saw this swatched on the back of someone's hand, and it was so beautiful. Like, it just looked so luminous and dewy and moisturizing and everything you could possibly want from a moisturizer. Like, it just looked so nice. So I'm intrigued by this. I don't see myself buying it anytime in the near future, but if I was in Sephora and they had it, I would definitely ask for a sample, because this seems right up my alley. So I think that looked really nice and definitely caught my attention. Alright, something else that caught my eye, and I'm not sure if the Balm is independently owned or not. I will definitely check, but this is their new What's the Tea palettes, and this is so cute. So they have one which is What's the Tea, and it's iced tea. Am I the only one who says iced tea, like I-C-E-D, not iced tea, iced tea? I just noticed that because that's how they wrote it here, and I always just add a D to that word. Not sure if I'm being grammatically incorrect for my entire life, but you know, every single shade looks like a tea, which I think is really cute. There is a like kind of more like a neutrally brown eyeshadow base and then a black base, so you can get more out of it. They're cream products, and the color scheme doesn't really speak to me. It's kind of like more of like a smoky, deeper tone, so it doesn't speak to me as far as the colors go, but I like the packaging a lot. And then the other one is the Hot Tea eyeshadow palette, and this one I love even more. Like, oh my gosh, these are so cute. The little teacups. I love tea. I have a cup of tea right now. Don't mind my really dirty cup, because I like to use the same cup over and over for a little bit, because I'm not trying to wash the same cup all the time. And this also has the different eyeshadow bases and the colors don't really speak to me, unfortunately. Like, when I saw the packaging, I was like, ooh, I love it, but the colors, I just feel like I don't see anything that really intrigues me, or like I feel like will add to my collection. But the packaging is so cute, and like the ladies gossiping, like, it's just, I like it. I love how punny the Balm is, and even though a lot of their products don't really speak to me color-wise, I can appreciate the different stuff that goes behind it. Like, they had like the Balm Jovi palette, which I've like literally wanted for years. I think is just hysterical. So love that. All right. Next is a release that's new, but not really new, just like kind of new. And it is the Tarte Face Tape Foundation. They are relaunching this foundation and redoing it. So they are coming out with 50 shades with 5 different undertones. There is sand, golden, beige, neutral, and honey. And they said, you asked, we listened. You can you can't scroll over. I'll add the picture on screen, and it shows all of the shades swatched on different skin tones, so you can see the gradient between the shades. And I feel like there's 2 different sides to this, and I understand both of them. So half of this, like, the feelings toward this is they shouldn't have to redo it at this day and age. They should get it right in the first place. They should not have to have some horrible scandal in order to realize that different skin tones are out there, and that people are deep in the winter and it's not just in the summer. Some of their comments were pretty ridiculous, so I feel like I totally understand where people are coming from, where it's like, it's too late, like, you should know already. But also at the same time, from the other side, it's the idea of like, yes, they should have had it right to begin with, but they are trying, they are correcting, they are changing, and they are redoing and starting over. So we should give them a chance for at least trying. So I feel like people are either on one side or the other, and I understand both. For me personally, I don't see myself buying this foundation because, well, for one, I don't want to buy any foundation. I have absolutely no need for any foundation in my life. I haven't even looked at the lightest shade. I know that the lightest shade in the other collections were not light enough for me. I tried one of them in a sample and it was too dark. This looks, I think this one would actually work for me. So that's nice that they expanded on that side too. But I feel like for me personally, I'm leaning more towards they are redoing it. They are doing a second chance. I saw someone say like it shouldn't take a year for them to redo it, and I'm like, I think it should. Because if you're going to come out with 50 shades and the shades are actually decent shades and good undertones and a good gradient, like, you don't want to just throw the shades together and call it numbers. Like, I think that the time makes sense for coming out with shades that will genuinely fit the majority of the population, rather than just like, oh, let's add some extra pigment and call it a day. Like, I don't want brands to take that quick route. Like, I would rather them take longer time and come out with something good. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Of course, part of the like mixed feelings is that like I've seen people like drag Tarte, but then they work with Elf, and Elf is just starting to dip their toes into having a somewhat okay foundation range. Like, they still have foundations that only have 3 shades. So I don't know. I think people just hate Tarte, honestly. I don't know how I feel. I sorry, that's annoying. I keep starting and I'm not even talking. In my life, the type of person that I am, I always try to see things from both sides. I'm definitely the person who's like the middleman in most conversations, and I'm also not the greatest person to talk to if you want someone who's going to be your ride or die cheerleader. Like, yes, you are right, because normally I'm like, well, maybe you should think about the fact that this person feels like, I'm definitely the person who tries to understand both. So I can see both in this situation, but I would be very curious to see what y'all think. If you even if you don't want to buy this foundation, if them coming out with this foundation and for improving their shade range, if it makes you want to continue to support Tarte, because I know some people were taking a break from Tarte. So I'm just curious about what everyone else's thoughts are on it, but that was just my take. I feel like I talked about that for a really long time. Next, Wet n Wild is coming out with a new collection. This is the Rebel Rose collection. I love it. I love it so much. If I was not on my no/low buy, this is something I would definitely want. This is something I would definitely buy the whole kit for. So there's a few different lippies that look really nice. There's some limited edition packaging. The eyeshadow quads look stunning. I'm all about the quads. Like the one that's like, it's like a light pink and then like a medium pink and then there's like a burgundy. That one is really beautiful. That one speaks to me in particular. Brushes, which are rose shaped, and I'm like, I have the dragon brush. I have the fire dragon and the ice dragon. I have the unicorn brush. I don't know, I have a lot of limited edition Wet n Wild brushes, so I'm like, oh, I need the rose. I need it, but I really don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Oh, and then there's like rose skincare as well. I'm like, I love what everything Wet n Wild is doing. I feel like they are always killing it. So even though I won't be buying this particular collection, I feel like I'm like in the back, like, yes, go Wet n Wild, like cheering them on. So I like it. I think it's really good, and it kind of, I believe Rebel Rose is one of their really popular lipstick shades, so it kind of makes sense to do like a whole collection surrounding it. A lot of brands have done that. Alright, so next is a few new releases from Fenty Beauty, and they were coming out with some new Stunna lip paints, but they are also coming out with some new Kilowatt highlights, and the mint shade, I feel like I just like zoned into that color and was like, ooh, like I live for a mint highlighter. I think that just looks beautiful. I do like the Fenty highlighter formula. It's a little bit more, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like when you first apply it, you're like, like it's okay, it's fine, like it works, whatever. And then as you wear it throughout the day, it just becomes like more beautiful. So I like it. I love mint highlights. So obviously I will not be buying it, but it definitely did make my heart beat a little bit faster. So moving on to the last release that I have to talk about today. This is from Benefit Cosmetics, and they have launched 2 new shades of their Hoola bronzer. And I have to say this definitely was needed for sure. Like, yes, they need to deepen their bronzer. I have looked at the Hoola bronzer differently since the time that I heard someone make a video and they were talking about Benefit, and I feel horrible because I cannot remember for the life of me who made this video. If anyone remembers someone saying like this idea, please let me know so I can credit them where it's due. But I watch a lot of people and I can't remember who I heard talk about this, but they basically were talking about Benefit's Hoola bronzer and how ridiculous it is that they made a bronzer called Hoola, which is, you know, kind of referencing Pacific Islanders, and it's literally not even dark enough for them to be able to wear it, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. So it makes sense that they finally deepened it up a little bit because they lightened it, but they didn't. I don't know. I'm kind of not here for this. Like in general, I feel like Benefit is definitely an overrated brand. Like they, for one, for me personally, this is a big thing. They still test their makeup on animals. They basically release the same thing over and over again. Like they have like a core amount of products. Oh, there's a fuzzy in the air. I'm so distracted. They have a core amount of products, like different blushes, bronzers, brow products, and then it feels like they release them over and over again in different sets and bundles. And like the brow products, they all put them together. Like they've done a few different collaborations. They've done so many different bundles, and it's just the same products over and over again. And then the different palettes that they have with all the blushes or all the bronzers, and I'm sure those are actually like a really great value compared to buying the boxes individually, because they're like $30 each for like literally feel like the cheapest little box thing ever. So, and then like they've had Hulu for years, literally years, and they're just now doing this. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad that they're doing it, but I just feel like it took too long. It definitely feels like an afterthought, and I just don't care for Benefit, to be quite honest. So that is everything for today's video. Please let me know down below what y'all are thinking about picking up or what you're staying far away from. I love to hear your thoughts on the new releases. I'm sorry I haven't been as active on my comments recently. I feel like everything in my life has been so crazy. Like good and bad things, mostly bad things, unfortunately. Like, I don't want to talk about it or I'm going to cry. So I'm not going to talk about it, but Sorry I haven't been as active, or I've been taking longer to respond, but I promise I will get to all the comments and I will be back. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.